In today's video, let's focus on what you need to make amazing travel films on your adventures. If you don't know me, I'm Sebastian and I make travel videos. And that is something I've been pretty much working full-time on for the last 7 or so years. So I'm going to talk about the gear that I think you need from my own experience and what are some of the things that you really should focus on when picking things for your filmmaking adventures. First off is going to be the camera. There are different camera options you can get, and it really is dependent on what kind of video you want to make and how you want it to look like. You can use things like an action camera like the one I have here. So for this example, this is the GoPro Hero 11, or you can even use your smartphone, but it's all dependent on what kind of shots you want to make, how you're gonna shoot the video, and how the situation on your travels is gonna go. So in my travel films, I actually use the Sony a7 IV that you're watching from right now, and I use it because you can change to different lenses. It has a big full frame sensor and you can really have the highest quality possible videos with it. And because you can change the lenses like an 85mm f1.8 or a wide angle lens, you can really have different kind of shots depending on what you use and what kind of situation you're in, which is a very nice high quality camera, and it really makes me able to make cinematic films feel and look the way I want to, so really high quality. But depending on your use case, maybe you just want to have like the vlog style and more like authentic experience, nothing too crazy. Maybe just a camera like a GoPro or any other action camera could be enough for you. Because with an action camera, you really are set with so many different things. For example, if you want to vlog with it, you have an extra screen on the front, which means you can actually vlog on it and see yourself if everything is in the frame. Also, it has a pretty wide angle lens, so it's easy to have everything in your shot. And also, because they're pretty much waterproof up to a couple meters, you can use it underwater, so if you want to use that for your underwater adventures too, you can literally use it on that too. And for the little bit more experienced or the little bit more daring people, you can actually strap this up to a FPV drone and use it too. So in my case, this maybe isn't the one I'm gonna use for vlogging because I use the Sony a7 IV, but for all the action shots that I want to have, so underwater or with the FPV drones, this is the camera I'm gonna use. But this really could be like a really easy, small, lightweight solution for all your vlogging needs. But you could also use your smartphone, because the new modern smartphones, especially the high-end smartphones, really have great cameras. And I use the Xiaomi 13T Pro, and I have to say, I'm just loving how good the camera is on it. It literally has the pro functions that you would have on a mirrorless camera, like the log recording, but in your smartphone. So you have this camera with you at all times, so why not use it? And I understand that it's not gonna be the same thing as filming with a proper camera, but for example, this phone or other phones, you have different lenses which really can get really nice cinematic kind of shots with them. So it's all about how you use the tools at your disposal. In essence, it's pretty much thinking what kind of videos you want to make and what kind of situations you want to be in and how you're gonna record, how you're gonna use it, and even something as simple as how are you gonna travel there? Are you a backpacker, or maybe you're gonna travel with a car? All those different things can make it so that you just want to have a small GoPro with you, and that is all that you want to have with you. Or maybe you just want to film with a phone, so you have everything with you on this single device. And pretty much the same rules apply for the drones. If you want to have shots from the air, which really can make your production look so much better, drone is something you should get. But here's the thing, it's also the same thing as with the camera. You have to pick what kind of a drone you want, because the two that I have here are normal traditional drones. There are also FPV drones, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But even if you want a traditional drone, there's a difference to those two here. This is a really lightweight drone. It's literally 249 grams, and you can fold it and put it in your pocket. Literally how small it is, but it can still record in 10-bit 4K 60 frames per second and in D-Cinelike, so in a flat picture profile. So this drone already has such a good quality that for, I would say, most social media users, this is more than enough. And better yet, you can actually turn the sensor on its side and have true vertical shooting, meaning for social media users, this can be amazing for the reels or the photos. This is a great drone for, like, not only it's much cheaper, it really is something that you can have in your pocket with you at all times. But then you have the other end of the spectrum, which is the Mavic 3 Pro here, which is literally like almost four times as heavy as this, but it has its benefits. It's pretty much like the highest end of the YouTuber world in terms of like solo flying and filmmaking. So this is literally like the two spectrums, while this is still not the lowest of the spectrum because it's the 3 Pro and there are different versions like the 2 SE, normal instead of the Pro, and different kind of options. Literally, this is not even the cheapest option, but it can still have great videos. You want to have the best of the best, and maybe the weight isn't a problem, and you are open to getting some certificates to be able to fly with a drone a little bit bigger. Well, you have different options, so it all depends on your use case scenarios. For example, flying in a city, some cities that you can fly in, well, a Mini 3 Pro is not going to be a problem at all. But flying with this would be pretty much a no-go. This might be the better quality, but this is much more easy to use and you can have it with you at all times in your back pocket. Literally, that's how small it is. So you really have to think where you're gonna fly, how you're gonna fly, and maybe even how you're gonna travel, because this is going to be much easier to travel with compared to this. So it's really up to you to decide what kind of drone you want to get. And I didn't even talk about the FPV drones. Those two are actually from DJI, but there's different pre-built or self-built FPV drones which create much different kind of shots than the traditional drones. Those are not the same kind of drones you want to use compared to like what you normally see on social media. But actually FPV drones are kind of getting more mainstream in the social media space. So yes, you can still see them, but they're much harder to fly, much different experience, and different certificates also with that. But also just overall the experience is much different. And to add to that, the difference here is also different because, for example, the DJI Avata, while it's smaller, easier to pack up, well, it isn't as strong as something like the DJI FPV. So it's literally always gonna be the same case scenario. Lighter and just easier to set up, or heavier and more, weight on your back, but probably a little bit stronger for the scenarios that it might need more strength. It is, once again, it's dependent on where you're gonna travel to, how you're gonna travel to, so which one is better for your packing, and also which one is gonna be better for that place. Because let's be honest, an Avata is much smaller, lighter, has prop guards, so it's really much more safer for all parties involved. Well, this is much bigger, stronger, but it's a little bit more fragile. One thing that has to be, said is audio is the king. A lot of times, the audio could be something that really makes or break your video. Even if you record on an action camera, you still want to have good audio because that could be something that people just turn off your video because of that microphone quality. So, some things that you might want to use. First off, when we run and gun and vlog on our adventure, on my Sony a7 IV, we have the Rode Video Micro. It's a really small microphone with a dead cat on it, so it's really fluffy and it's better for windy situations. And thanks to this, it's really easy to make great videos when on adventures. So there is no popping of the sound, and just overall the quality is gonna be better than the built-in microphone. But you can also have those wireless microphones, and if you've been using social media at all recently, you would notice a lot of people take those wireless microphones. So you have the one that is on top of your camera or the receiver, and then you have a Bluetooth second microphone, and they have them on their shirt, or they have them. Something that is very popular recently is holding it like a microphone and speaking to it. It really makes the sound quality so much better. Like when speaking to the microphone like this, everything just sounds so much better, and good audio really goes a long way in making your viewers enjoy your content. So as you can see, you can be anywhere in the world, do whatever you want to do, and still have great audio for your shots. Right now I'm in a little forest, and as you can see, I just have the microphone on me right here, and the audio should be still great. And because it's wireless, you don't have to be close to the camera, which is very cool. So for my example, I have the Rode Video Micro, and for the wireless microphone, I have a set of the Synco G2A2 Max microphones. So basically, I have one receiver and two transmitters, which means I could actually have two people talking separately. And one added bonus it has to be the camera strap, especially the one I use, which is like a quick release camera strap. I love it because I usually used to have my camera in my hand at all times, and then I would use a Joby GorillaPod to have it with me and hold the GorillaPod with the camera on top, which means I would be pretty much one-handed throughout the whole trip. That is why I no longer use the GorillaPod. I actually use the quick release strap, and I have it on me at all times, so you can have it hanging on me and then have two hands free. But also you can use it for different case scenarios. For example, if you want to have really nice stabilization, you can actually hold the camera steady on that strap, and now you have a much nicer stabilization when recording. And those are just a couple of things that I think that you should have for your adventure. Some things that are, in my opinion, the most crucial for me and might be for you. But like I said, it comes to your choice. You want a bigger camera or you want a smaller camera? You want a bigger drone, smaller drone? It all comes to your use case scenarios. For most of the things that I talked about in this video, if you want to go more in depth to one of those products or those cameras, those drones, everything I talked about pretty much has their own dedicated video. With that being said, that's gonna be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.